How can they get away with selling this golf club for £49? How can they get away with selling this golf club for £49? When you look at the shaft, when you look at the grip, when you look at the individuality, when you look at the sleek design, forgiveness, sharpness, the list goes on. These are back in stock. These are incredibly rare, and I stumbled across them online the other day. Went down to my local Decathlon to see with my own eyes the clubs in the flesh. I didn't even know even existed. I haven't seen a single review on YouTube, let alone the price point that these are being released at. This is ideal for a person that is a mid-range handicap player looking for that gap wedge, looking for that lob wedge, looking for that bridge gap between potentially a wedge they already have and their iron set. We're down here at the wonderful Kirklington Golf Club, which I'm going to be testing this club around today. But before we get into that, let me show you the footage that I got in store. Definitely some more stock the last time I was currently here. You're lucky over the last few years to find anything in a Decathlon when it comes to golf, and by the looks thing on the website, obviously restocking is happening. These are very interesting. I haven't seen a price on them in here, but online they're about £70–80. But to be fair, you could probably just get a second-hand one for about £40–50. But it's interesting and sometimes worth having a look in these kind of places because they start to get end-of-the-line products. They even have a second-hand bin. These are Anesis 100 irons at the bottom here, reduced to 1/112. So if you're ever passing an Anesis and you're looking to get into the game, potentially looking at a few deals, because I do value their products, and obviously the video that we're going to be talking about today is going to be involving one of these right here. They got decent shafts, they got decent components, they're decent equipment. Again, another manufacturer I'm championing because it's direct consumer. And when you actually look at the shafts these things come in, I don't know what this goes for second hand. I don't know on eBay. It's probably about £20–25, I imagine, something like that. Because let's be honest, not many people need a graphite regular flex wedge shaft. But you're getting a graphite shaft, brand new, for a grand total price, £49.99. Interesting. However, who is this club exactly for? Because a lot of you would be thinking, Simon, is this the Kirkland replacement? Kirkland wedges, £40 or £45 each, but £150 for the set, and you're getting a lovely set of wedges, which I honestly think brand new compete with some of the best out there. And the Anesis 500 wedge from the get-go, as I compare it to my Cleveland here, as you can see the different bounce profiles, would not compete with the Kirkland. It could even be better than the Kirkland, and it's all down to the kind of player you are. This is very much a more forgiving head type. It's got a lot of bounce on the bottom there. The head itself is a lot more chunky, meaning it's going to give you that forgiveness, but it's not designed for those ultimate controlled wedge shots, the ones where you're looking to nip it over the bunker and stop on a dime. I'm not saying that you couldn't do it with this, but this particular model itself, mid-handicap golfer looking for something to bridge the gap. But the massive selling point I feel with this wedge is that this doesn't look like your typical package set wedge. Let's compare it to the Rife. Let's compare it to the Phaser, for example. The other wedges that I've been testing recently around the £40 mark. This itself is a league of its own. If you've got a teenage son or daughter and they need beginner wedges or potentially irons, they will not turn their nose up to something that looks like this. This is an entry-level price, entry-level wedge, but has all the upside of a premium-looking brand. And I specifically got the 50-degree wedge, mainly because I didn't need the 55. And also this is the one that came in the graphite shaft. But the reason I got this is because I love the idea that you can buy these individually. You can go and get a 50-degree gap wedge because you have that little gap in the bag at the moment. And at £49, the best bit I'm seeing is that these are being listed on eBay for £40. £45. And the whole point of my videos, especially as I did that Gen 5 driver video last week, is that no matter the price that you buy it brand new, if you don't like it, can you recoup 80% of that money you invested in it? And I wholeheartedly think this will be the case. I don't think the Anisis 500 stock is going to last that long. I'm not too sure how long Decathlon has restocked all of their products. And I want you guys that watch the channels early to take advantage if this is something that you think would suit your game. Now, bearing in mind the ground's quite firm around the UK, we definitely have to have a link style approach with a lot of the pitch shots, especially as I only bought a 50-degree wedge. That being said, right from the get-go, I was relatively impressed with the level of control that I had from a club that has that soul, has that grind, has that cavity back behind it, that is going to help for more forgiveness. And I found that throughout the round, testing this club for many different levels, even with the sun-baked ground, whether it's from 80 yards, 40 yards, or 120 yards, I still had this sharpness and feel that I could get enough spin, that I could stop it where I needed to stop it, even with the loft and ground conditions. Very similar to a pin glide wedge, I would describe this wedge in the way it sits and the way it feels at address. It's not the sharpest, it's not the cleanest, it's definitely not Vokey, it's definitely not Cleveland, definitely not tailor-made in that sense when it comes to those milled grind wedges that basically merged and camo themselves into the grass. But I don't think that's necessarily what you need from this club. Interestingly, Decathlon and Anisis also have a 900 series wedge at the £80, £90 mark, which I'll be very interested to try and test, which I haven't quite got my hands on yet, as that will be a direct competitor as the 3 other wedges that I just briefly described. However, there is one massive selling point of this wedge, which basically throws my channel under the bus. The whole ethos and build of my channel is me essentially going, yes, you could spend £100 on this, but look what also you could get for £100 in the secondhand market. Yes, you could spend £200 on that, but look what you could get for £200 in the secondhand market. As long as the condition's good, shaft's good, grip's in good condition, 9 times out of 10, I am winning that argument with something that's pre-owned and lost its initial retail value. However, the Anisis 500 graphite shafted regular flex with the aesthetics condition, materials and overall combination, I am struggling to think what I could get for £49, and I'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments down below. What would beat this or compare to this that is in as good condition? Because let's be honest, we could all find a burnt out wedge for £50. But if you want a recoil graphite shafted 50-degree gap wedge that looks as clean and as aesthetic pleasing as this, and not to mention I've played a full round of golf with this club and it still looks in a very good condition. Every other cheap wedge I've tested over the last 3 months or so has that scuff mark, has the dents, has the dinks, has the logo falling out, the paint falling out, and that's just after 20 shots. Whereas I've put this through the dirt, sand, dust around Kirtlington Golf Club and it looks as good as it did as it came out the wrapper. And the only other clubs that I see that happening with are your big boys, your Ping, your TaylorMade, your Callaway, your Mizuno. The only difference is their wedges cost £149. Now, the only downside of this whole brand that I've seen in the past, and don't get me wrong, they became extremely popular in the pandemic era, is the availability. And as I am publishing this video, there is availability of these wedges at £49. But just like the irons and the driving irons and the drivers and the woods with Anisis in the past, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know if there will be the same kind of availability. Hence why I've never really promoted this brand all too much. Pointless me showing you a great value item that you can't get your hands on. However, I'm hoping that is going to change, and not only that, be excited and interested to test the other more premium models that they brought out with the 900 series. Overall, £49, graphite shaft, great looking head. I can't really give you a better alternative for that mid-handicap player that's looking for a good looking wedge, but with that element of forgiveness. Guys, if you like this video, you might like this one up here on the left hand side. Catch you guys later.